Hi there, my name is Jim Owens and today I'm going to be talking about Sofia. What is Sofia? Well, I could be talking about Sofia, the capital city of Bulgaria, but that's spelled S-O-F-I-A. And Sofia is also the name of a robot from Hanson Robotics Limited. In fact, the very first robot ever to be awarded citizenship of a country. However, that Sofia is spelled S-O-P-H-I-A. I could even be talking about Sophia, which means wisdom in Greek, but that's spelled Sigma Omicron Phi Iota Alpha. But the Sophia I'll be talking about today is spelled S-F-I-A, and this Sophia is an acronym which stands for Skills Framework for the Information Age. What's a framework? Well, a framework is a structure which includes guidelines, a sequence of steps, knowledge and information, all designed to help you achieve what you need to achieve in a best practice way. What does Sofia do? Well, basically, Sofia is all about getting the right people into the right jobs in information technology. And anything that helps you find the right job has got to be good, right? What are the main benefits of Sofia? It helps you choose the right job. It helps organisations select and manage the right employees. It helps universities and colleges produce the right courses that actually have skills that employees are looking for. It helps everyone plan career development. Okay, that sounds great, but what if you don't want to use Sofia? Well, you don't have to use it, but let's consider the main disadvantages of not using Sofia. I can think of 5 main ones. Number 1, if you're not using Sofia, you will apply for jobs that you're not suitable for. Number 2, employers will advertise jobs wrongly, and then they will employ people who are not actually a good match for the job. Number 3, nobody knows how to properly plan for the future. Suppose you want to become an IT manager or a database administrator or a data analyst. Without Sofia, you don't know how to become one of these in the quickest and most efficient way. Disadvantage number 4 is universities may teach you skills and give you knowledge which are not actually in demand in the industry. Now, I said in number 2, in disadvantages of not using Sofia, that it was employers advertise jobs wrongly. What do I mean by that? Now, I'm sure you've all seen adverts like this one before. Applicants must have advanced programming skills, good networking design capabilities, highly developed data analysis skills, extensive testing capability, above average communication, very good business analysis skills, and moderate change management exposure. Is highly developed higher or lower than advanced? Is above average higher or lower than moderate? There's no way to tell for sure. And even if there was an answer, how do you know if your skills are going to be good enough for this job? The simple answer is you don't. And so what happens with a job like that is perhaps 500 people apply for it, with none of them having any certainty that they match the selection criteria. Of those 500 applicants, perhaps just 10 people are a good match. But the employer can't be sure who the good matches are, and so they may employ the wrong person and then blame that employee for underperforming. Does that sound like a good way to run a business? It certainly doesn't to me. And the other 499 unsuccessful applicants, including the 10 good matches, all get the standard rejection letter and wonder why they didn't get the job, and they blame themselves for not trying harder. Dear applicant, thank you for applying for the job, but after carefully reviewing your qualifications, experience and skills, we have decided to pursue other applicants who match the requirements more closely. Match the requirements more closely? How can they tell? And there is another big problem. Suppose the employer advertises for a web developer. The advert says, Cliché Web Development Limited. We're looking for a forward-thinking, head-of-the-pack web developer to work in a fast-paced, cutting-edge company. We need someone who can hit the ground running and think outside the box without being over the top. Essential skills are good systems design skills, above average database design, an excellent programmer with some experience in testing, a basic understanding of systems integration, and demonstrated change management skills. You will also need strong experience in a modern JavaScript framework like React, Vue or Angular 2.4. Desirable would be PHP 7 and Symfony framework. I suppose from that job advert they shortlist 2 applicants. And here are the 2 applicants. Applicant 1 and applicant 2. Both applicants have similar experience in React, Angular 2.4, PHP 7 and Symfony framework. So how do we choose between them? Because they look very similar. Let's consider the other requirements in the advert. It asks for systems design, database design, programming, testing, systems integration and change management. Now, if only we had a way to see the specialist skills inside the applicants. Let's imagine for a moment that we have applicant 1, applicant 2. And suddenly, once we can see the specialist skills, the applicants don't look very similar anymore, do they? But do they match the requirements? Okay, let's check applicant 1. Systems design, yes. Database design, programming, testing, systems integration, change management. Does applicant 1 match the requirements? Yes, applicant 1 matches the job requirements. Let's check applicant 2 in the same way. Does applicant 2 match the requirements? Yes. And so even so the specialist skills are quite different in some areas, they both appear to match the requirements. But what is missing? Well, so far all we have been considering are the skills. What we haven't considered are the levels of competency. So let's try that again. Here are the specialist skills again, and here are the 2 applicants. And here are the specialist skills as before. But this time we will also consider the level of competency required for each specialist skill. We will add the skill levels to the job requirements. And to make it easy to compare them, we will ignore any specialist skills which the candidates have that are not required in the advert. Oh dear, what's wrong now? They look identical. Of course, we still have to add the applicants' levels of competency. Now they're not the same anymore. Let's check applicant 1 first. Systems design level 3. Yes, we have a match. Database design level 3. Yes, we have a match again. Programming level 4. Well, actually applicant 1 has a level 5, but that's fine as long as the skill is not under the required level. Testing level 3. Yes. Systems integration level 2, yes. And change management level 3, yes. Does applicant 1 match the requirements this time? Yes. Once again, applicant 1 matches the job requirement. But look at applicant 2. Programming should be level 4, but applicant 2 has just level 2. And change management should be level 3, but applicant 2 has only level 2. Does applicant 2 match the requirements this time? No. Now the employer should be able to select applicant 1 with confidence, and that is the power of using Sofia. And you have exactly the same problem for business analysts, programmers or any other job, and there's no way for an applicant or even an employer to know if an applicant has the sort of skills and experience that the job requires. So how does Sofia fix all these problems? Firstly, Sofia doesn't talk about jobs or roles. Sofia is concerned only with skills. Sofia has divided the field of information technology into 97 different specialist skills. What are specialist skills? They're basic skills such as programming, business analysis, database administration, testing, systems integration, and so on. Each Sofia skill has a 4-letter code. For example, PROG, P-R-O-G, stands for programming. But please note that Sofia is not interested in technologies. If you are a Java programmer, you will have a PROG skill. If you are a Python programmer or a PHP programmer or a C# programmer or a COBOL programmer, you will have the same specialist skill of PROG. By using Sofia, you can 1. Work out what Sofia ICT skills you have. 2. Measure your level of competency for each skill on a scale from 1 to 7. 3. Combine all of these into a Sofia profile and add it to your resume, like this one up here. So you can see that on this resume we have DESN, Systems Design, Level 2, DBDS, Database Design, Level 3, PROG, Programming, Level 3, TEST, Testing, Level 2, SINT, Systems Integration, Level 3, CHMG, Change Management, Level 3. These skills and levels are measured against an international standard, and so your Sofia profile will be recognized all over the world. Now, I've left the justification column of your Sofia profile blank. I will talk about that later. And now, if a job is advertised using Sofia codes, you can quickly see if you are a good match for the job. For example, Cliche Web Development Limited. Now look at the essential skills. Immediately you would see that you are not a good match for this job because your system design is only level 2, the job requires level 3. Your programming is only level 3, the job requires level 4. So there's no point in you applying for the job. You would just be wasting your time, and you can spend your time so much better than this. However, just by reading this advertisement, you can see that you need to improve, and you can see exactly which skills you need to improve and what extra levels you need. Or if you had been missing a skill, you would have seen immediately that you needed that skill. But if you do submit an application, the organisation can check your Sofia profile really quickly to see if you're a good match. Because now, instead of advanced, good, very good, highly developed, extensive, above average, etc., you have just a set of numbers. If you have the right skills and levels on your profile, they will then check the rest of your resume to see if you should be shortlisted. And that is a huge improvement on the usual system, isn't it? Where did Sofia come from? Sofia was created by the UK government around the year 2000, and it's in use in almost every country in the world. So that means if you do a little bit of work working out your profile, you can use it wherever you go. The UK government has invented a lot of clever stuff. They also invented Prince 2, ITIL and Cobalt, for example. So how do you get a copy of Sofia? Well, Sofia is not software, it is a framework. In fact, it's all contained in a book, a user guide, which you can download from sofia.org.uk. How much does Sofia cost? Sofia is free to use. You do need a license to download resources from the Sofia website, but the license is free too. Okay, you've seen how wonderful Sofia is, and now the big question of the day is, how do you work out what your profile is? There are several ways to work out your Sofia profile, but I think you'll find this 4-step one is easy to follow. Number 1, work out what specialist skills you have. Number 2, calculate your Sofia generic level. 3, calculate the competency levels of your specialist skills. And 4, add your Sofia details to your resume. That's all there is to it. Now let's work through the steps. Sofia looks a bit complicated, but is really very easy to use. Step 1 is work out what specialist skills you have from a list of 97 Sofia skills. The easy way to work that out is to download the Sofia A3 chart, then you've got everything on one page. You will notice it's nicely color coded. Red section, strategy and architecture, is largely for people who are managing and guiding the organisation, and so it'll be a few years before you're looking in that section. The purple section, change and transformation, is for people who are helping to change the organisation, so this will include business analysts and project managers. The yellow section, which is where most of the techies will live, the solution development and implementation, is where you'll find programmers, developers, data analysts and engineers. Moving down to the brown section, you have delivery and operations, so that's ongoing, everyday, business as usual operations work. Blue section, skills and quality, is largely concerned with teaching, education and quality management. And lastly, the green section, relationships and engagement, is for stakeholder management, marketing and sales. And so for developers, engineers and coders, your best place to start looking is in the yellow section, Solutions Development and Implementation. And if you're a business analyst, you'll also check the purple section, Change and Transformation. But you need to be realistic. If you created a database in high school to hold your music collection, even if it was a very big music collection, you do not have a BDAD or database administration skill. And if your only exposure to programming was a 2-day crash course for Ruby on Rails, you do not have a prog skill. These are the skills that you can actually work at. As the advert says, we need you to hit the ground running. So you might expect a bit of training to use the skill, but still it should be pretty well up there. You will probably end up with a list of 4 to 6 skills from a list of 97. If you've more than this, especially a lot more, reality check, check them again. Now that you know your skills are, you need to work out your competency levels. There's a trick to this. Before you can work out your competency levels, you need to work out what your Sofia generic skill level is. What's a generic skill level? Your Sofia generic level is a measurement of how competent you are as a professional. And your generic skill is different from your specialist skills because your generic skill is more related to your personality, background and experience. Everybody has a generic skill, but they will have different sets of specialist skills. So number 2, calculate your generic skill level. Sofia separates your generic skill into 4 aspects. You measure each aspect separately, then average them to give you your generic skill level. The 4 aspects are 1. Autonomy, how well you work on your own without needing help and instructions. Number 2. Influence, how well you can direct the organisation and change people's minds. 3. Complexity, how good you are at understanding difficult problems, requirements and instructions, and how well you can complete complicated tasks. And aspect number 4 of your generic skill is business skills, how well you can work with other people and with customers, and how well you can use company software and systems and so on. But before you can measure your skill level, I have to explain what the skill levels mean. A level in Sofia is a number from 1 to 7. Both your generic skills and your specialist skills use the same system of levels. Each level has a name as well as a number to help you understand them. Level 1 is called Follow. This is a level of an absolute beginner and probably the level of somebody in high school. Level 2 is called Apply. This might be a university graduate with a bachelor's degree in ICT. Level 3 is called Assist, which might be a university graduate with a master's degree. However, if someone is a master's graduate and has worked as an ICT professional for a period of 6 months or more, they will probably be higher than a level 3, probably up to level 4. Level 4 is called Enable and should be perhaps a team leader or a supervisor. Level 5 is Ensure Assist. This would be junior management level. Level 6 is Initiate Influence, which is middle to senior management, and level 7 is called Set Strategy, Inspire, Mobilize, and this would be a CIO or CEO or the most senior management levels. Now that you know what your skill levels are, you can work out your generic level. If you're a student on the ACS PE course, ACS has made this part really easy for you. You can download the Sofia self-assessment spreadsheet, which helps you calculate your generic level really easily. But please note that the Sofia self-assessment spreadsheet does not calculate your Sofia profile, it just calculates your generic skill level. If you don't have the spreadsheet, I'll show you how to work it out from a Sofia user guide, which you would have downloaded from the course or from the sofia.org.uk website. Let's assume you're a recent master's graduate, you've got a bit of experience, and your generic level is probably level 3. The current release of Sofia is version 6, and if you look on page 17 of the user guide, you will see the levels of responsibility for level 3. Now, if we consider autonomy, for level 3 it says, works under general direction, uses discretion in identifying and responding to complex issues and assignments, usually receives specific instructions and has work reviewed at frequent milestones, determines which issues should be escalated to a higher level. If that describes your current situation, then your autonomy is level 3. To check if you are lower or higher, look on the same page for level 2. Autonomy level 2 is works under routine direction, uses limited discretion in resolving issues or inquiries, works without frequent reference to others. And level 4 is on page 16, works under general direction with a clear framework of accountability, exercises substantial personal responsibility and autonomy, plans own work to meet given objectives and processes. Simply choose the one that best matches you. But remember to be realistic. If your manager leaves you alone a lot just because she's busy, that doesn't mean that you're a higher level of autonomy. It means you're not getting sufficient direction. Repeat the exercise for influence, complexity and business skills, average of 4 levels and round down to get your generic level. For example, levels 3, 3, 3, 4, that gives you generic level 3. Congratulations, now that you've calculated your generic skill level, this is the second major step completed. You are almost there. Step 3 is to calculate your specialist skill levels, and you will do that using a very similar process. But please note this is important. You cannot claim a specialist skill that is higher than your generic level. If you have a generic level 3, you cannot claim a level 4 or higher in a specialist skill. Don't argue with me. Don't send me emails trying to prove it. This is what Sofia tells us. But you can have a specialist skill that is lower than your generic skill. That's not a problem. So if you have a programming specialist skill and your generic level 3, you can claim prog level 3 or level 2. But you can't claim that you have a prog level 4 or higher. In fact, if you look at the A3 chart, which I told you to download, you will see that there is no level 1 for programming, which makes sense because level 1 is a complete beginner. A complete beginner can't be a programmer. So let's assume you're generic level 3 and you have a prog specialist skill. Turn to page 46 and the first thing you must do is look at the description of the skill. The description of the skill for prog is the design, creation, testing and documenting of new and amended software components from supplied specifications in accordance with agreed development and security standards and processes. Never ever guess what a skill is. You always need to check the description. Never guess and think, I probably have it. It sounds right. You must read the description to ensure this is the correct skill for you. As I mentioned earlier, you can't be a level 1 programmer. It doesn't exist on the Sofia chart. And if you look, there is no level 6 or 7 in programming either, because it's unlikely that you'll find the most senior members of management cutting code. If your generic level is 3, you can't claim a specialist skill that is higher than 3. Level 3 for prog says, designs, codes, tests, corrects and documents moderately complex programs and scripts from agreed specifications and subsequent iterations using agreed standards and tools. Collaborates in reviews of specifications with others as appropriate. If this seems a higher level than the way you currently work, you can check level 2, which says designs, codes, tests, corrects and documents simple programs or scripts and assists in the implementation of software which forms part of a properly engineered information communication system. And you choose the closer match. Then you simply repeat this process for your other specialist skills. Earlier I showed you a sample Sofia profile. Here it is up again. You can do yours a different way, but I think this one works well. And I said I'd explain about this justification column. This is used to support your claim that you are at a particular level. As an example, I will fill out the justification for test. So we have test level 2 At Acme Limited, I designed the test cases for the CMS project and I cross-referenced them to requirements and kept my manager updated on risks and issues. Can you see how powerful that is? Now, if a job application asks you for an example of when you did some testing, you simply copy and paste this justification. And you can use this if the employer asks you for an example during an interview. All the hard work has already been done for you. And if you're applying for a job and someone else is applying for a job, you're both using Sofia, you both got the same skills and levels, then the employer can read this justification column to see who is a better candidate. And so in summary, job seekers use Sofia to determine what skills they have and what level their skills are at. Check if their skills and skill levels match a job advert, discover skills and skill levels they need to get a job or change career, decide what type of training courses they need, and to measure their progress. Employers use Sofia to work out what skills and levels exist within the organisation, what extra skills and levels the organisation needs, what skills and levels need to be used on a job advert, to check if job applicants match a job. Schools, colleges, universities and other training organisations such as ACS Education to the ACS Professional Year Programme use Sofia to ensure that their courses are aligned with skills that the organisations actually need to make it easier for you, the graduates, to get a good job in information and communications technology. Well, what are you waiting for? Go and create your Sofia profile and get applying to jobs.